Hi, everyone, and welcome to StudioJake. I, of course, am your host, Jacob Airy. Thank you so much for joining me today here on StudioJake. I talk about all kinds of things. I talk about film, anime, Saturday morning cartoons, novels, sometimes music, not very often. I also interview some really interesting guests. I'm excited that you're here with me. Be sure to like this video, share it out, subscribe. Before I dive into the topic, I write novels. This is my very first novel. It's Cacophony, A Tale of Faith and Fear. It's about a group of demons trying to take over a town and the angels sent to stop them. I also have this fantasy fiction series, The Seven Royals, All Good Things, which is the first in the series, and its sequel, Breaking the Stars. It's about a group of fairy tale characters, your favorite fairy tale characters, who have to unite together to stop an evil mage from destroying their kingdoms. They're pretty good. You can get them on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com. They're available for print and digital editions. The sequel, Breaking the Stars, you have to get it as the digital download at BookLocker.com exclusively. But everything else is available everywhere else. So now we're going to dive into the topic. I am a Transformers fan. I have been a Transformers film ever since I watched Beast Wars Transformers from 1996 to 1999. It's that is how I was introduced to the Transformers. And of course, I watched the original 1980s animated series as well. I actually enjoy it even as a person who I consider myself a futurist and enjoying innovation when it comes to films and TV, but I appreciate the classics like the original 1980s Transformers. Thought it was fantastic, and everything in between. As far as like the films, I liked the first Michael Bay film, and I liked the third one. I did not like 2, and I did not like 4 through however many there were. I think 6. I didn't like 4, 5, and 6. I thought that they were, or is it just 4 and 5? I can't remember. It's forgettable, right? The Bayverse was forgettable. They made the Autobots and Decepticons look more alien than they did, whereas in the 80s and subsequent other cartoons, they always look like really cool robots. But for Michael Bay, for some reason, didn't want them to look like this awesome design. He wanted them to look more outer spacey. Don't get it, but that's what he wanted. That's what he got because he's Michael Bay. Then, of course, we got the reboot, the 2018 Bumblebee film, which I enjoyed. That was the movie that Transformers fans had been waiting for. It was a blast. It was fun. I had a great time watching it. So now it's getting a sequel called Transformers Rise of the Beasts. They just released a trailer for it. They released some still images for it. And I have some thoughts. First off, right off the bat, it is always great to see Peter Cullen return as Optimus Prime. I like other voice actors who have done it. Neil Kaplan comes to mind, Gary Chalk, David Kaye, even, who was Megatron in a different series. All those actors are fantastic. Peter Cullen, to me, is still the main Optimus Prime as far as I'm concerned. I also think the plot of the movie looks really good. It looks exciting. The special effects look cool. I like that they're introducing Mirage. She's kind of a fan favorite Autobot. I love the new RC design. I think you get a glimpse of her in Bumblebee. I think she is in Transformers, the second Michael Bay Transformers, but she gets like killed at the end of the movie. It was really sad and depressing for those of us who are huge RC fans. For this video, though, I want to talk about, because there's some concerning things about the video, or about the trailer and the images released, that I did not care for. First of all, Ron Perlman as Optimus Primal. Who thought that was a good idea? I mean, Ron Perlman is a very talented actor. He's a jerk in real life. He's one of these typical celebrities that think they know everything, but they really know nothing, except how to pretend to be other people. He voiced the character Optimus Primal in Power of the Primes, a series that, is okay, I guess. But I don't know why they didn't get Gary Chalk back. Now, the main things I want to talk about, though, are the design for the Maximal. So for those unfamiliar, Beast Wars Transformers is a direct sequel or prequel, depending on how you look at it, to the 1980s cartoons. The premise is it's way in the future. It's after the final battle between Optimus Prime and Galvatron, and it ended with the Headmasters with Transformers Rebirth, where the Autobots get Fortress Maximus and the Decepticons get Scorponok. And in way deep in the future, so the Autobots have won the war. They've been downsized and they've evolved into the Maximals. And for the Decepticons, the Predacons, who were originally a small group of 5, they have taken over and they've turned the Decepticons into themselves. So they, the 2 ships, the Axelon and the Darkside, they crash on primeval Earth. So humans have not yet evolved. They're still kind of in like a, even I don't know what it's called before Cro-Magnon. I don't believe that humans evolved from apes. I believe that humans are uniquely designed by an all-loving creator. That's a topic for another day. In Beast Wars, they were humans did evolve from these ape-like creatures, and that was one of the subplots. Was the Megatron of the Predacons was trying to stop the evolution of humans, so that the Decepticons and later the Predacons could strip mine the Earth of energon, of energy. So that was sort of the backstory to it. Well, it looks like they're taking one of the things that's interesting about this is it didn't really reveal a whole lot of the villains. What we do know is that they are using the Predacons and the Terracons. I don't understand that. The Terracons in the original cartoon, and they're not mentioned in the Beast Wars at all. They were now they had a Terrorsaur, but he was his own character. He was not related to the Terracons. The Terracons were a subgroup. They were kind of a chaotic, monstrous group. Their leader was, I think, named Sinnertwin, and they were mainly meant to be opponents of the Autobot team called the Technobots, who were engineers and designers and architects and things like that. And they would combine into an Autobot named Computron. The Terracons would combine into Abominus. So it's kind of be like the order of science versus the chaos of destruction, right? Well, in the Unicron trilogy, so that's Transformers Armada, Transformers Energon, and Transformers Cybertron. Of course, Cybertron in Japan was not related to the Unicron trilogy. In America, we tacked it on for some reason. They were a clone army from Unicron. Now, maybe this movie is going to go that direction, that the Terracons are that, but I don't think so. My main gripe is how they're changing the enemies. For one thing, they weren't really highlighted in this. We did get to see the Maximals, so we got to see Optimus Primal, we got to see Cheetor, we got to see Airraiser, Rhinox. I don't know why we didn't see Rat Trap. He's one of the coolest of the Maximals. I wish we could have seen him in Tigatron, which I get it. Tigatron's just a repaint of Cheetor. No one cares. He was still a cool character. But we didn't see any of the Predacons. Now they're making Scourge. So in the original 1980s cartoon, Scourge was Thundercracker, a member of the Seekers, so one of Starscream's henchmen. And he was turned into Scourge, the leader of a subgroup called the Sweeps by Unicron in Transformers the movie. Now, I don't like that they're making Scourge a Terracon. I think they should have kept him as a Sweeps or made him maybe a separate Seeker. I know that the comic books did that. They kind of separated the Unicron minion or the Unicron generation of Decepticons from the mainline ones. I wish that they could have done that here, I guess, but to turn him into a Terracon, come on. They're already Terracons with really awesome names. Just use them. I don't know why that Hollywood has to change them. And also the Maximals, the whole point of them is they were supposed to blend in with nature. Same with the Predacons of Beast Wars. They were supposed to blend in nature, so they didn't look high-tech. They just looked like fleshy when they were in their alternate modes. And in fact, there's even an episode where Tarantulas, who turns into a spider, he actually wants to drain Cheetor of his mechanics so he can feast on him. And it was a really disturbing episode, but my point is that was the point of the Maximals. They look techno here. and I'll put an image on the screen. They looked techno, and now when they became what's called transmetal, so some of the Maximals in the show got exposed to alien energy, then they became sleek. They did look more robotic in their alt modes. Now maybe they're going to do something like this, but I don't know if that's the case. Also, too, the Maximals and the Predacons, by the time of the Beast Wars, they're small. They're supposed to be a little bit bigger than humans. I guess you could compare them to basketball players. But the whole point is Cybertron is being overcrowded. That's why they downsized. So now they're the same size as the Autobots, and that just doesn't make any sense to me. See, this is what I'm concerned about. And look, I know I'm being nitpicky. Jacob, you said you liked the whole thing generally. You liked Mirage. You liked RC. You liked Peter Cullen returning. You liked Bumblebee. You're going to complain about a few story changes, a few character changes. Yes, here's why. I have now become a big fan of gatekeeping ever since Disney ruined Star Wars and the MCU, and Warner Brothers ruined the DCEU. There's been more misses than hits. Now, to be fair, Paramount has done a good job with the Sonic the Hedgehog film series, so maybe now that they have kind of wrested control of Transformers away from Michael Bay, maybe now Transformers will be good. And I'm willing to admit that. Maybe when the movie comes out, I'll have my mind changed and I'll be like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? This film is amazing. But I do think some gatekeeping needs to be involved, because when these corporate overlords get a hold of these IPs, they tend to only want to use the name to make money. They don't actually put them in hands of people that cared about them. And that's been a real tragedy since, I want to say, 2012 is where we really started to see this idea that movie filmmakers and movie critics, I almost said movie critics, but for sure filmmakers, studios, they started to push back and attack fans just for not liking the products they are given. And with the Bayverse, fans were able to get away with a little bit more because the critics didn't like those movies either. They didn't like the first one, which I said I liked the first one. They kind of liked Bumblebee, I guess, but they never liked Transformers. It's seen as kiddish. And granted, Transformers was basically a toy commercial, but it was a good toy commercial with lots of adventure, lots of fun, and I had a blast watching those shows. From, some were better than others. Certainly, Transformers Animated is better than Transformers Cybertron. That goes without saying. Transformers Car Robots, which was called Robots in Disguise in the United States, is better than Headmasters. Yeah, that's no duh. Beast Wars is better than Beast Machines. Everyone knows these things. I'm not saying that Transformers was like this perfect franchise. None of them are. But it still has a lot of meaning to a lot of people, including myself. Transformers was one of the first nerd things I got into. I was into Batman, Spider-Man, Transformers, Sonic the Hedgehog, and it just went down the line from there. Now I'm into other things. I have other franchises. And yes, I'm over 30, and I'm still into these things. Get over it. That's just the way it is, and that's the way it's going to be. And I hope I'm wrong about Transformers: Rise of the Beast. The guy, Stephen Capel Jr., who's directing it, I'm not familiar with any of his works. I did think he did a good job with Creed 2. I did, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I was getting confused with someone else. He's only directed 3 films, The Land, Creed 2, and now he's directing Transformers: Rise of the Beast. I did like Creed 2. I thought Creed 2 was good. You can go read my movie review on my website, StudioJakeMedia.com. I was very complimentary of that movie. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Transformers: Rise of the Beast is going to be fantastic. I hope that's the case. But just these corporate overlords have worn me down so much by letdown after letdown, I'm not holding my breath. But I'm willing to be proven wrong. I'll admit I was wrong when the movie comes out and I write in my review. But we'll just have to wait and see when it actually premieres in theaters. If you liked that video, please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Give it a thumbs up. And I would be honored today if you would subscribe. No matter what platform you're watching on, please subscribe, hit that follow button, share it out all over the place, and check me out on some of my other socials. I've got links in the description below. Also, Check out my website, StudioJakeMedia.com, and consider supporting this channel on StudioJakeMedia.locals.com. It really helps smaller creators out. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.